Hello fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime and it is time to brawl. Now it's also time for my 100% honest review of the most recent update. I'm gonna talk about the things I liked, talk about the things I didn't like. We'll talk about season 3 for the Brawl Pass. I'm gonna be doing some real talk about Colette, as well as just talk about Star Park. And at the end, I'm gonna rate the update as a whole from 1 to 10. And while we're doing it, I'm gonna be 100% honest, because that's the video series that I do. But first, I am thankful for today's video sponsor for helping make it possible for me to make the videos that you guys love. I wanted to give a huge thank you to Summoner's War for sponsoring this video. Street Fighter V and Summoner's War are collaborating to bring some of my favorite Street Fighter characters to Summoner's War. Characters like Ryu, Chun-Li, Dhalsim, M. Bison, and Ken. Summoner's War is the world's top mobile turn-based RPG with over 110 million downloads worldwide. The game is always changing with new features and updates that really keeps it fresh. Summoner's War features over 1,000 unique monsters to collect, and that makes for endless team competitions and strategies. And the game has a huge community with an emphasis on esports. In fact, I've actually had the pleasure of meeting a few of the Summoner's War streamers, and they have nothing but amazing things to say about the community. Summoner's War is also celebrating the Street Fighter collaboration with an augmented reality filter event on social media and in-game events, which is actually pretty cool. Download Summoner's War with the link in the description below and you will be able to unlock Ken for free. And once again, a huge thank you to Summoner's War for sponsoring this video. Let's start off by talking about everything that is going on with the WKPRL stream, the StarPark.biz website, the Star Park boxes that got sent to people throughout the community, including this I Survived the Baggage Blaster shirt. I always go backwards, that's weird. And the investor video that took over Brawl Talk. Okay, now I know you guys are waiting for my next Brawl Theory video where I'm gonna cover everything that's happening since Brawl Talk. I'm still working on it. There's a lot to wrap my head around. There's a lot of stuff. I look at every tiny little detail, so it takes some time. But for this video, I think that we can all agree that Supercell went way above and beyond when it comes to the way that they added lore into Brawl Stars, right? These days, a lot of games don't even necessarily come with lore, and a lot of the lore in games is just like line of text here or there that it doesn't really reach you, you know, it doesn't make you feel like it's anything special. It doesn't impact things. But it has become more and more obvious that there was a lot of thought that was put inside Brawl Stars and we just hadn't discovered it yet, or at least we hadn't realized what it meant yet. And Supercell has done an amazing job at revealing the lore behind the game, especially with everything ramping up to Brawl Talk and that Brawl Talk video, okay? They got the entire community involved. They even did sponsored content outside of the community to expand the lore. Like they had Dragon Force do a cover of the Star Park theme song, and they also had this guy review Star Park's frozen TV rations that included spaghetti on a stick. Sounds disgusting, but I don't know, he said it was okay. They sent various Star Park boxes throughout the community to various people, and many of them had a little card inside, and on the back of the card you could take a picture of it, and all of the cards that were sent throughout were different, and basically it made it a puzzle, which is mostly finished here. Big props to the people who have been working on this. If you can imagine it, Supercell did it, right? Like, this was awesome. And then of course, there is everything that happened on WKBRL and then the Star Park website that all led up to Brawl Talk being hacked by the investor video. And I am pretty sure everyone's mind was blown when that happened. Supercell did not give me an early look at it, so I was watching it live. There is still a lot for us to uncover, and I think that it is truly awesome that Supercell revealed so much about Brawl Stars' history during what was supposed to be the smallest update of the year. Now let's talk about the newest brawler, Colette. As far as Colette's personality goes, she's awesome. She's just as obsessed with Brawl Stars as I am, maybe even a little bit more, but you know, maybe not. You've seen my wall, right? As far as gameplay goes though, I love her mechanics. I think it is so cool, very unique, and I am absolutely gonna give Supercell props for that, but I think that she's not going to be super fun to play for a lot of players, at least not without any significant buffs. Now, I do have to put a big fat disclaimer out there that at the time that I am recording this video, I've still only played Colette against bots on the developer build, and she has not been released in the game yet. So my opinions absolutely might change after she's released, and I actually get a chance to play her against actual players. After all, I did think this Surge was going to be a little bit on the weak side when he was released, and so I shared that feedback to Supercell, and they actually took it to heart. They gave him 2 buffs before he was actually ever released, and he ended up being on the strong side because of it. I actually hope that Supercell does the same thing with Colette, because I just think that she's not going to be fun, and I would rather have a new brawler be a little too strong than be not fun to play, you know. you get that's how I view it, at least. Colette requires 9 regular attacks in order to take out a Frank with his sponge star power, and he is the highest HP brawler in the game, and she's supposed to thrive against tanks, right? Every other brawler in the game other than Poco, Nita, and Jessie can take out a Frank in fewer hits than Colette can. So even against the tankiest brawler, where Colette is supposed to be really thriving, she's 4th worst with her attack. Now, the idea behind Colette is that she's supposed to be great at taking tanks out, and then her team is going to be able to help finish them off, or she can use her super against them, and I'll talk about that. But against a tick, the lowest HP brawler in the game, she requires 6 attacks to take him out, which is an average damage output of 513 damage. 513 damage, that's almost half as good as an attack from Poco. That is terrible. But of course, that's not her whole kit, right? She still has her gadget and her super, which do allow for her to be able to take out some brawlers much easier. At least her super does. Her gadget can be useful to get kills, and especially if you use it right, but it's not very good if Colette has taken any damage, and it is never helpful against brawlers that have more than 5,120 health. Now, I will say that her super is going to be the best way for Colette to get some kills, and her super is a lot of fun. It's really cool, very assassin-like a move, and I think it's really awesome, but her super also has its drawbacks as well, and that drawback is the fact that Colette is incredibly vulnerable to auto-aim attacks while she is dashing. Now, that was really difficult to play against bots who have insanely fast reaction times, because I could just, like, you know, super on them and then Bull's immediately like, oh, no, you're dead, and just like blast me in the face. Most people in real life don't have that fast of a reaction time, so, and it's not going to be perfect in either way, so take that with a grain of salt. But she's supposed to be a great counter against tanks, and if she tries to go up against a Bull or a Daryl, all you have to do is just auto aim in order to deal a ton of damage. She's just going to get taken out in that split second because she has low enough HP that they're just going to auto aim her in the face. That is absolutely a lot less of an issue if she has her star power, though. Even with her super and her gadget, she's terrible in 1v1 situations, but what about in team fights, right? 3v3 matches, that's where a majority of matches actually happen in Brawl Stars. Yes, Colette was made to be pretty good at taking out enemy brawlers HP down quickly so her teammates can finish them off, and she can shred through a max health tank like none other. But the problem is that even in competitive 3v3 modes, wins usually happen because individual players are able to win their own 1v1 situations so that they can then 2v1 the remaining enemies. Kills are absolutely the best way to do that, and Colette sucks at taking enemies out in a 1v1 fight. Granted, you don't necessarily have to get a kill in order to win a 1v1 situation. You just have to push them back long enough that they have to fall back and heal up so that you can then 2v1 one of their teammates. Colette can do that against tanks, but the average brawler has about 5,000 HP, which means that Colette will deal an average damage of 1,750 with her first attack, and that is 20% less damage than what the average brawler can deal with their attack, which is just under 2,200 damage. And what makes it worse is the fact that Colette's second attack will deal even less damage, which means that she's really not very much of a damage dealer, if you ask me. I think Colette's gonna need some changes in order for her to feel good, at least some sizable buffs. I think her gadget should deal bonus damage on top of her attack so that it's always beneficial to use it 100% of the time, rather than only when she has the right amount of health or the enemy teammate has the right amount of health and you having to quickly calculate the math to do it. Like, that's weird, and I'm not a fan of that. As for how I would buff her attack, I've considered 3 different ways, right? Just making it so that her attack deals a flat percentage based off of her target's max health, so she would always 4-shot or always 5-shot a brawler. I've also considered increasing her minimum damage to be at 500 damage, and I've also thought about increasing the percent of damage that she deals to being closer to about 40% or possibly even 50% all the time. And all 3 of these buffs would work, but they also come with a few drawbacks, and I'm really curious to know what you guys think about her. But you know, I know this is my 100% honest review, and I'm being very opinionated right here, but I ask that you guys try not to be too opinionated until after you've had a chance to play with her against real players. And I'm saying that to myself as well, right? I still have hopes that she'll be decent in gem grab and duo showdown somewhat, and I'm also confident that if she does need a buff, Supercell's gonna come up with the right type of buff for her pretty quickly after she's released. Now let's switch gears and talk about something small that is making a huge difference in my life. Literally the smallest thing you've never thought about that is making a massive impact on me. The ability to turn off bots in friendly matches. I think most people watching this will agree that it's a cool feature, but it's not anything really super special. But for me, this is a huge deal. Why? Because I make Brawl Stars videos. Wait, you didn't know that? Come on, man. I've got a YouTube channel. Almost 570,000 people subscribed. Like, you should consider subscribing too. Okay, seriously though, the ability to turn off bots is going to save me so much time recording footage for various things that I put in my videos. Like, this is such a quality of life improvement for me, at least. You know, I'm usually there, like, I have to bring friends in there. Hey, everybody go stand in the corners. Go stand in the corners while I do my thing. Sorry. Yeah, you just stand in the corner. No, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to waste other people's time. That's awesome. I love that. So thank you, Supercell. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now I know there are a lot of people out there that look forward to my breakdown of the Brawl Pass each update, so let me tell you what's changed. I think you'll be happy to know that hardly anything has changed, honestly. In fact, Brawl Stars managed to add a pin pack into the free pass without changing the total number of boxes in the free pass. So every player who finishes the pass will get 3 free pins on top of their normal free rewards. I think that is great. It keeps pins really exclusive, keeps them like kind of like the kind of thing that you show off because you're a heavy spender like I am, but then people still get to taste just a little bit of it. I like that. I like that. And if you buy the Brawl Pass, you'll get an additional pin pass, but there's actually one less pin coming with Colette than what came with Surge. So pass buyers are getting a total of 2 additional pins in the season 3 over what they got in season 2. And then on top of that, they had to remove 1 big box from the Brawl Pass portion. So that's a minor consideration. Overall though, season 3's Brawl Pass is absolutely worth it in my opinion. And if I had to choose between Mecha Paladin Surge or Trixie Colette, I'd have to go with Trixie Colette. It's such an awesome skin. And if you do buy the Brawl Pass, I'd appreciate you using code Kairos when you do. Kairos, code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop. Support me if you like my videos. If you don't like my videos, I'm surprised you're watching at this point. Now let's cover all the skins coming in the update. First up is Poco Star, who is immediately unlocked in the Brawl Pass. He does not have any changes other than his regular outfit, but I do like the colors on this outfit. I would value him somewhere between 30 or 80 gems. Next is Trixie Colette. Guys, can we please take a moment to appreciate how awesome this animation is? This skin is amazing. Not only does the skin look awesome, but the attack projectile changes and her super animation looks incredible. But let's not forget how awesome her losing animation is, right? It's hilarious. I would honestly rate this skin as being worth around 200 gems. I think it's more than 150, but getting this at the end of the Brawl Pass is a big win if you ask me. I mean, the Brawl Pass just has so much value. Are you kidding me? Why would you spend your gems anywhere else? Next is El Atomico, which is already in the game and costs 10,000 star points. I actually didn't think this skin was going to be worth 10,000 star points until I saw that he glows in battle. Other than that, he's basically El Primo with some few color changes and some minor other cosmetic changes. I think the fact that he glows green is absolutely worth 10,000 star points. So this is a solid skin in my opinion. Next, let's talk about Superfan Ems. She costs 150 gems. She's already been put into the game. Her winning animation is awesome, as you can see. I think it's just funny. It's not like a cool win animation, but it's funny, and I like that. I love that. And her losing animation, she holds up her camera like she's gonna take a picture of her being sad. So funny. I love it. She also has some improvements to her attack animation and her super animation. Now looks like she's having a super big party. I think this skin is rightly priced about 150 gems. So this is a winning skin in my opinion. It's not like more than 150, but it's about there. It's about there. I like that. Next is Mask Spike. This skin costs 30 gems and will be released on September 18th. I love this concept. The fact that he's changed masks every single time. He's got 8 different masks. That's so cool. The in-game masks when you're actually like playing a match is very subtle. So I completely agree that this should only cost 30 gems, but the idea is so creative, so unique. And I've really got to hand it to Supercell for coming up with a cool 30 gem skin that is worth it like this. Like this is cool. You got to buy this skin. Unless you're free to play and you're saving up for the pass. Always buy the pass if you are a free to play player. But if you can afford those additional 30 gems, this is a good one to go for. Next is Sugar Rush Sandy. This skin is going to cost 80 gems and will be released on September 25th. I like this skin. I think it's priced right about 80 gems because it doesn't really have any different winning or losing animation. And you gotta admit that his attacks and supers look crazy clean, right? I love the idea of attacking people with cotton candy. I'm a big fan of attacking people with food. And if it's sugary, that's just even better. Very cool. Next is Lunar Sprout. This skin is going to cost 150 gems and will be released on September 28th. If I'm correct, this will be an exclusive skin too, meaning that will only be able to be purchased at this Lunar New Year event that's happening right here. This skin is so cool. I'm not sure why it is a bunny who attacks with cheese and carrots, but I am a fan of attacking enemies with food, as you know, so it's a winner to me. His super throws down moon pieces, which is really cool. Maybe that's where the cheese idea came from, you know, cheese, moon. Moon kind of looks like cheese. I don't know. But where the skin looks really awesome is its winning and losing animation. Sprout literally flies around for both of these, which is so cool. I honestly, like, I saw that animation, I was like, oh man, please tell me he floats around in the middle of the match. He doesn't. I think that would be cool, but it's still worth 150 gems if you're going to ask me. And, you know, for a limited time skin, this is a solid one. Now let's talk about balance changes. Over half of the brawlers got a change in some way during this update. Granted, a lot of them were minor changes to their supercharge rates, but each of those minor changes did have some thought put into them. And it's pretty clear to me that despite this being a smaller update, they worked really hard to try and figure out the best way to balance the game through a lot of changes. I'm not sure about you guys, but I would rather have a lot of small changes rather than a few really big changes that drastically change up the meta. Although I do like the meta changing up, so I'm excited to see how this is going to happen. I'm excited Shelly got a buff. I didn't think that she was going to get a buff based off of some of the things that Frank was tweeting out on Twitter, and I'm really excited about that because she just wasn't. I mean, she's played a lot. She has played a lot. She has lower win rates, but she's played a lot, and Supercell looks a lot at use rate. So I'm happy with that, and I'm pretty happy that Surge got a nerf. I think Supercell did a pretty bang up job, which is, I don't know if that's actually a good thing. I'm gonna say that like it's a good thing. They really did a bang up job with these changes. That sounds like a bad thing. I don't know, guys. This is a weird recording video. I usually don't go on rants like this. Maybe you guys like the rants, but I guess as you don't. The last major changes that we saw for this update were two environments. We got the Star Park environment that is replacing the training cave and the gift shop environment that takes place in various modes in the game. I think that both of these environments are really awesome. It's nice that the training cave now has a unique place, and there's something really special about it being the first place that people see in the training or in the new tutorial when they actually first enter into the game. Very cool. Kind of welcomes them to the park and lets them know that this park it's got some dark history to it, right? Now the gift shop looks incredible, and I could talk a lot about all the details in it, and I'm not going to for this video, but my word, they did a fantastic job with it. The art is so great. There are so many cool details in it. I love it. So the real question is, how would I rate this update from 1 to 10? The way I see it, there are two ways to see it. First is the pessimistic, or as some people call it, the realistic perspective. We did get some new maps, most of which were actually old maps, but you know, I like the old maps, and we are getting a lot of balance changes. But as far as new content that is actually going to impact gameplay, we're getting one new brawler. And I think that brawler is going to be a little bit frustrating to play because of how weak she feels, at least, you know, for a lot of people that really like solo showdown, or people that don't like the other modes, or people that, you know, just aren't a team player, right? And that's pretty much it for new content, aside from the new skins and environments, which are actually what I consider to be changes that don't impact the core gameplay very much. And all of that, that's why Ryan said this was going to be a small update. And honestly, I was hoping for more of this update because the dreamer inside of me was telling me that, like, you know, Supercell had prepped more content before they left for summer vacation, which is why we had a smaller update before they left, and now we're still having a smaller update. So it turns out that wasn't really a fair assessment, and I was being naive to how much time was required for Supercell to create the content. Or maybe they're saving 2 short updates for a really awesome update next time. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm not a developer. I don't know how hard it is to develop a game as awesome as Brawl Stars. I know I love the game, so I mean, however much time it takes, it's worth it, right? But that perspective does not cover the whole picture. In this update, we got something that I think is bigger and more valuable than new content. Okay, we got new lore in a game that was put in such an awesome way that the player base actually cares about the lore beyond just the gameplay, and that's really special. We got a reveal that was so shocking that people still don't know how to feel about it, and Supercell hyped it up in such a crazy, cool, unthinkable way, okay? On paper, this update looks small, but to someone like me who obsesses over the game more than most, I love it. Guys, I love it. I was more than impressed with this update. Supercell could have just written descriptions of where each brawler comes from, or maybe a little bit of a background story, and honestly, I would have been okay with that, right? But no, they could have even just like done a Brawl Talk and be like, hey guys, by the way, Brawl Stars came from a creepy park called Star Park. But instead, they showed us in such an awesome way that they made the lore exciting, and that is much more than what I could have hoped for with this update, and that's awesome. So on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst update ever and 10 being the best update ever, how would I rate it? You know? I'm gonna go with a 9. I am. I would have definitely gone with a 10 out of 10 if there was more in-game content, but for a post-summer update that the team put together after 1 month, I am pretty stoked about it, and they just went so above and beyond with the lore side of things. So that's way awesome. But I want to know what you guys think. So drop your ratings in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more. Use code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop every single week. And for now, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.